Well, I have read that extroverts, as they age, become more introverted, but I also think being in graduate school and working and sitting with people all day long, I come home now and I'm like, can I just put my jammies on and lay in bed and watch a Hallmark and hold the dog? And you're like, yes, I love that.
Well, as long as it's not a Hallmark.
Oh,
Some
God.
good
No.
action movie.
Are you sure?
Hey, we don't share every little detail.
Hi, we're Greg and Erin Smalley. We head up the marriage team here at Focus on the Family. We're marriage counselors, and we have a podcast called Crazy Little Thing Called Marriage, and we'll link to it below.
Yeah. Well, we all know that, right? Opposites attract. Usually, as we're dating, we're drawn to each other because of those differences between us. But what happens, though, when those differences start to repel as we are married? And maybe those cute, fun differences can become irritations and frustrations. And we get into a lot of conflict over even trying to manage those. Well, a real common difference within couples, one is probably an extrovert, one would be an introvert. And if you were guessing, who would you say is the extrovert between me and Erin? So Erin is a classic extrovert.
Well, and I used to be extremely extroverted, so much so that one time I was invited to play bunco at lunchtime. You know what bunco is and who plays at lunchtime, but I went because as an extrovert, it sounded fun. So I put the address in my GPS, made my way there, walked into a house, and realized when I got inside that it didn't look familiar to me, and none of the ladies looked familiar, but I kind of thought, well, it's lunchtime, maybe the regulars couldn't come. And so then as I'm standing there making new friends and having a snack, a lady stands up in the living room and she says, come on in for the PTA meeting. And I was like, what? The PTA meeting? And she said, are you not here for the PTA meeting? I said, no, I'm here to play bunco. And she said, who plays bunco at lunch? I said, I know. But apparently that house was 2 doors up, and I literally was extroverted enough that I walked into a stranger's home, made some friends, and had a snack.
Anne was elected president of that PTA chapter. Because as an introvert, I mean, I never would have showed up there anyway.
Yeah.
Just the whole thought of a big social gathering overwhelms a lot of introverts.
And I used to be really extroverted. I don't know. Well, I have read that extroverts, as they age, become more introverted. But I also think being in graduate school and working and sitting with people all day long, I come home now and I'm like, can I just put my jammies on and lay in bed and watch a Hallmark and hold the dog? And you're like, yes, I love that.
Well, as long as it's not a Hallmark.
Oh, God.
Some good action movie.
Are you sure?
Hey, we don't share every little detail. Okay, so I'm an introvert. You're married to an introvert. What have you learned about just, I mean, that's going to create some friction, conflict, frustration.
Yes.
So what have you learned over the years on how to be married to
An
me?
introvert. I would say that I have learned that multiple social activities, multiple nights in a row, doesn't go well. So we have to sprinkle them in strategically throughout the week.
If ever.
Yeah, even maybe one a week.
Well, and I've had to learn to compromise in that.
Yes.
Understanding the importance of community and who you are and how people energize you. And that matters
Well,
to
they
me.
used to.
Yeah. Well, but we talk about this all the time that both of us have to matter. And so the marriage can't trend, solely in one person's direction to where we're busy every night.
Right.
But at the same time, never busy, never parties, never people over. That
Right.
wouldn't be fair to you.
Right.
And I get that.
Yeah.
For me, one of the things that I've learned from watching you show up as an extrovert is just the importance of friendship. It's very easy for me, maybe as not only an introvert, maybe as a guy, I don't know if all that means this, but it's easy for me to isolate. It's easy for me just to want to chill out and do my own thing and be isolated. I have my family, I have you, I have our kids, and yet there's such value in community and friendships. And I always joke and say I only have friends because my extroverted wife set me up on play dates with other men. And I remember a time that you say to me, oh, hey, by the way, on Wednesday you're going to have lunch with Fred. And I remember thinking, Fred? Who's Fred? I don't want to know Fred. I hate Fred. I don't want to. What? Why are you setting me? I don't do. But now I get why that's important for me, and it's good for me to stretch in that way. And because I watched what that does for you. So now Fred is one of my very best friends.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that.
But what I will say, you being introverted slows me down.
You're more
because-
sloth-like.
Yes,
like
yes. You slow me down. However, these days my pace is a little bit slower, but it still brings a lot of balance to me, to our relationship. And that's really what I see differences do. So often parents will come in and they'll say, well, I'm more the rule-oriented one and she's more relaxed. And what a beautiful combination.
Yeah.
Work together with whatever the differences are. Like you said, they're never the problem. It's how we manage them.
As we're talking about this, it's just the differences between an extrovert and an introvert. Another one that really stands out for me is you're very adventurous. And I would say that I love routine and I like to know what we're doing ahead of time so I can think through how will we really do that successfully. For example, there was a restaurant that had opened up, at one point here in Colorado Springs, downtown, and you got so excited. You heard about it, and you're like, oh, this menu looks amazing. We need to go. And what was so funny is the moment you said downtown, we need to go, my whole thinking became, okay, what time of the day would you want to go? Because I'm thinking, I know when the traffic is really heavy, and I don't want to get stuck in that. And then where will we park? So as you're getting all excited and you're dreaming and you're like, we could have this part of the menu, it features a lot of rabbit dishes, which is, it's just an interesting, cool restaurant. And I'm thinking, man, where are we going to park? And do I have change to put into the meter? I'm running through every possible scenario.
And I had no idea. And so as you were saying that, I was like, really? That's what you're thinking about? I would never think through the details of it.
No.
I just want to go. And so it's good that you think about those details because I never would. But thank goodness now there's apps that show you where to park. And even if it's full or not. So there you go.
That's true. But I think for me understanding that, is the question is how do we blend kind of those things? Because what wouldn't be fair is for you to have an adventurous idea. Hey, this new restaurant opened, and I shut it down.
Right.
Wait. Yeah. The traffic is horrible. There's no parking, and we don't even know the menu. How much does it cost? Well, who are we going to get to baby? There has to be a willingness on my part to lean into that, and at the same time, it wouldn't be fair for you just to start dreaming crazy and without any awareness.
That's pretty crazy.
That where I'm going to go with that. So again, the blend for us has been you'll throw out an idea and then you kind of then let me think about it, process it, decide what route, and do I have enough gas, and where will we park, like all that.
Yeah, but it's helpful for me to know that's what's going on for you inside. I had no idea. I would never have thought about it like that. But it's good for me to know that's what gets stirred up inside of you, was all the details, the things I don't think about.
Right. Well, even traveling, like Erin and I, travel for a living. We get the privilege of going and doing marriage events together. And what I've learned is why I fly one airline, why we rent from the same rental car company and stay at the same hotel chain is because as an introvert, that creates some anxiety for me, thinking through all these new details. We're flying into somewhere, and I don't know the route. And again, we have, we use a good GPS app. I mean, all that is fine. But for me, when I can create some routine around that stuff, same airline, I know the seats that I want to choose where I want us to.
Sure do. It throws you a little bit if they change it.
Oh, that throws me completely off when they get the notice. The equipment has changed. You need to pick new seats.
Yeah.
I just want to go sit in a corner and cry.
Yeah, I know.
But that's been good. Like I didn't really have that awareness. But I know how important that was. And one time we were just talking, and you're like, why? Yeah, why is that so important that we rent from the exact same places or stay at the same hotel?
Well, you build status, but...
That is true. I like to be a big deal.
And I often think there has to be room for both of us. And I'm thankful for your personality being a little bit more introverted, steady, because I benefit from
Routine-driven,
it.
yeah.
But I know that I push you out of your comfort
You
zone
do.
as well. So what a great team.
Yeah, because often you'll have a new idea,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm aware that I will fight that, even if I'm not verbally saying it. My body language is, I'm sitting back going,
Oh, you have to bite your lip.
why would we want to go hiking? Why.
Yeah.
But usually I've learned that if I just say yes and do it, I'll end up really liking it.
Yes.
Because at the beginning, I'm like, I hate that. I'll never like it. And we got to think about that. Yeah.
And then you warm up.
Yeah. But again, you have to matter. There has to be room for you as well.
Yeah.
So I can't shut everything, every idea down that you have, or that wouldn't be honoring to you.
Right.
Well, certainly differences within our marriage are going to go beyond personality differences, and there's going to be differences in how we communicate and work through conflict and walk out our spirituality. And if Focus on the Family, we have a free assessment that's going to show you some of these main categories of where we can be different. It's going to show you guys as a couple what you do really well in those differences, but then also some growth areas. And it's a great tool just to give you insight and some awareness on how we can better manage some of these broader differences within our relationship. And we'll go ahead and link to that below.
I will often say that Greg talks once a month. So I'll say, it's his time of the month. He's talking. So I need to make
my
sure
time of the month.
that I am ready to listen when you
Very
are ready
weepy.
to talk.
Yeah.
That it's important that I listen when you want to share. And that doesn't happen quite as much as it does for me.
Well, because as an extrovert, I mean, again, that sort of deeper conversation where you're unpacking your day or whatever.
Right.
I mean, you get excited about doing that. And I've even noticed that I love to listen, and so it's fun to hear about your day. But I've even had to learn that, okay, at some point I need to say, okay, can I tell you about my day?
Yes.
Not that you wouldn't be interested in
Yes.
asking that, but you can get carried away
I am
in
more
the details.
verbal,
Yeah,
and I'm a
absolutely.
verbal processor, but I also have had to learn that to stop talking and to create space for you to share. Because if you're not talking, I'm like, I'll just keep sharing. But I've learned that I just need to create space and stop talking and give you space to share.
Yeah, and that's going to happen monthly, is what I hear you saying. Probably another big one for me is this. For me, learning that people, I love people. And I love those deep conversations over kind of small talk, but people will not energize me. So when we're doing marriage events and we're up in front of people and talking to people, I reach a place where I'm like, okay,
You're done.
I'm done. And you have just, as an extrovert, like you're warmed up. Like
Yes.
that was the appetizer. Now you want to get into deep conversation.
Yeah, and
with
there's
me.
so much I want to process. Like, did you meet this person? What did you think about that? How did this go? What about that? Just all the details of it. And I have learned to not take it personally when we get on the airplane and you put on your noise canceling headphones.
It's the greatest invention that God gave to introverts is noise canceling headphones.
Yeah, it's an indicator that we're done talking.
We are.
And I don't take that personally anymore because I know that you are refilling and rejuvenating by listening to music all the way home. Because we know when we get home, we have people who want more of us, and that's our children, and we want to be available.
Yeah, and again, these differences between us, they're never the problem. It's how we manage them.
Yes.
Sometimes we do that well. Sometimes they can lead to frustrations. But I think for you and I, what we get now is that, man, how we're different. That's the beauty of how God brought us together. That's the spice, and that's the amazing part. And we just have to keep learning how to work through these things and come up with solutions that feel good to both of us. But that requires talking, which I don't want to do, because then I have to take off the noise canceling headphones and it just goes downhill from there. So have fun talking about those differences between you, especially introvert or being an extrovert.
Thanks for joining us today, and we're excited for you to learn more about managing differences in your marriage. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and even subscribe for weekly updates.
Yeah, because we want to help your marriage thrive in Christ.